Oh boy. Yeah. Hello, my fellow gnomes. So today I'm going to be revisiting some of my earliest ever projects on Roblox. Now, some of these creations haven't seen the light of day for over 10 years. And to be honest, I'm a little nervous about what I might find. I created my account all the way back on the 31st of July 2011. And the oldest created game I could find is this one here, Medieval Quest, which was apparently from May 2012. Now, the title may well say, coming soon, so I'll probably release it after the next episode in the Doors series, when I'll be releasing all my other hundreds of unfinished projects. So let's take a look. Okay, so here we are. Credit to BS Trimp 7 for his combat knife. That's such a classic of old games. They would put their credit at the top here, and back then I didn't know how to script, so I just left these things in, and I had no idea how to remove them. So let's look at this famed combat knife that I can see down here. Oh, I appear to have lost my arm. Knife. No. Will it damage me? No, it doesn't damage me at least, but my poor arm. Can I get my arm back? Oh, there we go. Okay. The idea was for this to be an RPG game, I remember. So you can see I'm at Chapter 1, the something, and then we've got Chapter 2, Elgard, and Chapter 5. Who needs 3 and 4? We've got Chapter 5 already. But let's see if we can do some of this dialogue. Search the body. I shouldn't really do this, but yes. You come across an array of objects. Look through the objects. Mostly rubbish, mouldy cheese, horse feed, a few coins, and a bundle of wet paper. We'll pocket the coins. 3 bronze heads pocketed. Another action. I remember I had to copy through. I didn't have any way of actually looping through the dialogue, so I just copied this multiple times. And so you can see I've got all the options each time. So if I keep selecting pocket the coins, I think eventually I'll just reach the end. There's no actual recursive logic, you see. The dialogue just ended there. Halford, I'm writing to express my concern that you still haven't arrived at the Lone Crow Inn after 1 week. Hope you... that was cut off. We've got a horse over here. Can we talk to the horse? Snorts. Hello, horsey. There we go. And then finally, we've got talk to me last. I remember these used to be a big thing on Roblox. I don't know if anyone still uses this, but before billboard GUIs were a thing, people would tend to create a humanoid inside a part. So it has the humanoid name appear above it. You make a head part, you make it invisible, and then you can display some text like this. There we go. Time to head to Elgard then. So far, this is pretty good, I would say. Just, it's a bit of a walking sim, but here we go. Step here to go to Elgard. Here we go. And we've arrived. And we've got this beautiful yellow part. We can look back and see the awful storm back there. I think originally when I made this, I probably had a much shorter render distance. So I probably thought this was out of sight on my old computer. But anyway, this beautiful yellow part, I think is a spawn point. So if we touch it, there we go. We're on Chapter 2 now. Now these houses I actually remember building. Unlike a lot of the free models, I actually built these houses myself. So we've got a little cozy fire. We've got some seats, look. And we've got upstairs. We've got a bed with two seats on the beds. So that's the house. Not a bad little thing. And then we got another house here. They're all the same. And in the distance, you'll see I have a little farm field with a little farmhouse over here as well. I'm not really got much of a concept of level design or layout here. I've sort of created a big street out of a feeling I wanted a big high street. But I'm not really doing anything with all this space. And that's sort of a classic game design, especially for beginners, mistake really. Actually not thinking about where you want your player to go and thinking that having more stuff is just going to make it seem better, when really it sort of makes it seem a bit lifeless. So here we go. Timothy's Tailors here. I assume I probably wanted to turn this into a clothes shop of some sort at some point. Oh, we have got a spawn. I forgot about that. Okay, so let's remove our hat. And the hat remover doesn't do anything. Okay. But can we give ourselves... There we go. We give ourselves a nice outfit. And we can even have the this shaggy hair. Apparently that's the hair of princes. We've got an apprentice and a head blacksmith. Welcome to the forge. What do you want? I've come to see your wares. These are some very interesting hammer designs, aren't they? They're huge. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do any hammering like this. But you can see I'm trying to craft a story there. Desperately trying to craft a story. And I think that's about as far as my story got. Now, if you're thinking that a lot of these builds actually aren't too bad, then I would agree with you. They certainly don't look like a first ever attempt at building. Now, the reason for this is I'd had a lot of practice playing a game called Sandbox, which allowed you to play around with plastic blocks on a small little base plate. And I'd also been using another account in Tiley, because this isn't actually the first ever thing I made in Studio. If you want to see something a little bit older, we've got to go to another account entirely. This is brickbrackbrockbrick, another of my early accounts, created last online, in fact, 11 years ago, decked out in a very fancy military uniform with, as all generals wear, a baseball cap. This was probably the only hat I could afford. We can see he's got one game. Let's check it out. So this is City of War, the first ever time, I think, that I ever tried playing about with Studio. Now, if the map looks a little bit familiar to you, that's because it is the starter template. This is the map, or the place you used to start off with, and you got this whole town to start off with, which I was always quite fond of. And, well, what did I do to this game? How did I make it my own? Well, I just added in all these free models. So I've got all these soldiers. I've been playing about in Sandbox, and then I discovered all these free models that existed, and I just kind of went nuts. So if we walk to the bottom of this lighthouse, which I've turned into a military tower, and look at all these dudes, I just spammed free models into these little platoons here. And I think these parts are probably used to be gun meshes, and now they're just some rather sad parts. Now, today, this all looks a bit silly, but I remember at the time, I was so proud of these guys. And the computer I was trying to use then was probably like some slow Windows XP thing. In fact, I think I even remember trying to edit this on my grandmother's computer, and it was chugging so heavily. Oh, the lag in trying to have these, I don't know how many this is, 100 soldiers or so, was immense, but I was determined to finish them off into this formation. And I was so proud of my huge army that I'd made. And I hope that they used to have flags. I think there's probably a decal there. At the moment, it just looks like they're all surrendering, which is a bit sad. And that's it. There's basically nothing else to do here. I barely knew how to use Studio. I was really struggling to move the camera about the map. I found it all really difficult. You can see I put some random objects over there on the other side of the riverbank. I think I probably didn't even know how to delete things at that point. That's how much I was struggling in Studio. But still, this is a bit of a sad attempt at a first game. But there we go. This was the sole contributions, really, of brickbrackbrockbrick to the world. So back on the GnomeCode account, and this was probably my first ever complete game. It's called Death Island. And again, it's sort of a story RPG type thing. So in the description, we've got this story here. It says, when a poor local gets poisoned by the sea, you must trawl the island for clues, uncover the mystery to save the island. Deep stuff. So it was created on the 15th of May, 2012, 10 years ago. Does it deserve an update? Well, let's play it and find out. So here we go, classic style spawn again, and we're spawned in on the beach. And, oh no. Oh, that's tragic. There used to be terrain here, and for whatever reason, all our old terrain has completely disappeared. So we've got the beach because I made this out of parts. There's no terrain. That's really sad. Ah, well, we'll try and play this game as best we can. So, using my best scripting knowledge at the time, I just use the dialogue option. That's all I did. There was no scripting whatsoever. I just had a series of characters. So you talk to each of them. And this guy with his ridiculous head. If you're wondering why he's like this, I remember it's because at the time I didn't know how to add in a proper humanoid rig other than from a free model. And I was a bit nervous about free models because of lag. So I just added in a ball part and put it on top of the character like this. This wasn't a stylistic choice. This was just young GnomeCode doing the best he could. So let's talk to this man. Don't go in the water. Really? Why not? Joke. Poison in the water. Joke. Oh no. Go into the cave up to the cliff to get help, presumably. No, I want to go for a swim. You will drown and suffer a long, painful death. Like how he suddenly isn't choking anymore for him to tell us his ominous prophecies. Alright, so that's pretty dark. Shall we go into the sea? What do you think, guys? I'm sure it's perfectly safe. And here we go. Uh-oh. Whoa. Okay, it's definitely not safe. So, yeah, there's supposed to be some terrain here. So maybe what we'll have to do is nip into studio so we can sort of half experience this as best we can, because we're not even going to be able to get over to all these guys here. Okay, in studio, and you can see this is how I created the thumbnail, just by having a decal part and zooming in on it with the camera and then using the auto save feature, because I think you used to have to pay Robux to actually upload a thumbnail. Desperate days indeed. So let's go all the way back to the map, and oh, I found the winners area. Owner only room. Wow, what's in here? It's a sofa. A single brown sofa. Wow, how cool I must have been. Yeah, I could go in my little owner area and sit on my brown sofa. So let's have a look at the actual dialogue here. He tells us not to go in the water, and then we say, yeah, I know. And then he recommends that we head to the lighthouse, which is the beautiful building over here. So anyway, if you go up the lighthouse, which has this beautiful free model lift, all the way to the top, I think this was probably inspired by those flood escape elevators. And then you get up to the lighthouse, and who is this fellow over here? He's the lighthouse keeper, and you can talk to him, and he will say, it's a nice day, and we'll talk about the water again, and I don't know where I was supposed to go. But I think then at some point you go to this town area, and let's see what these guys have to say. We've got a guard over here. We then talk about how there's poisonous water again. And we've got some townspeople. Ooh, what lovely lips you have, lady. Look at those lips. Oh, gosh. Apparently the dialogue went something like, what are you doing in my house? And then you could say, I've come to warn you about the water. And then you have to go and tell the mayor who's in the large white house. So that'll be this building here. But I think this was a basement, and then you went down into the basement. And there you go. Here's the mayor. What a friendly looking chap. And you can talk to the mayor. And what does he say? Hello, I'm the mayor of Hygrina Island. How can I help? And then you say, the island is at threat. How so? The sea has poison in. People are dying. Are you getting the one plot point of this entire game yet? What does he tell you? I'm sure the poison will go away in a few weeks. What? Why do you think that? No, it'll pass away like it normally does. And then I say, what are you doing in the basement? I heard a large banging noise and came down to look. And then he tells us to go and find the hole. So I think there was a passageway at the end of the basement, maybe behind these boxes or something. And we've got a little sneak peek already, because I think you then came out and you faced this dude who's supposed to be a demon. There we go. Got those demon eyes on him. And I think the big boss fight was, of course, just through dialogue. I didn't know how to do any scripting again, so the dialogue goes something like this. Who dares enter thy lair? What are you doing here? Poisoning the sea. Ah, my little amusement. Again, all through dialogue, and then we click attack in the dialogue and kills him off. And then we've got this dude over here, this very happy guy, who I think basically just says, congratulations, you've won the game. And then he tells us you can step on this teleport and go to that wonderful winners area. That there's so much to do that we looked at earlier. And maybe one day you too could sit on the owner's couch. Okay, I think we've seen enough of that. It really is tragic, though, that the terrain updates over the years have wiped out the old terrain. That's a real shame. Okay, so get ready. This next game includes my first ever attempt at scripting. Prepare to be amazed and see the wondrous creations I made. Are you ready? This is scripting by GnomeCode. And here we are. A black base plate and a black box. And if we come over here, we will get a little surprise for ourselves. And here we are. Whoa! I have some parts with changing transparency, or I think it's the reflectance I'm changing here to make them slightly brighter. And we're turning off some parts to sort of add these lighting effects. And I didn't actually turn off collisions for them, so you can see they always block me, even though this is supposed to be a spotlight. And this is it. This is pretty much the first ever thing I scripted on Roblox. And then I add in a bunch of free models. They're probably copyrighted music. I don't want to add them in this video in case it gets flagged, but a lot of these are really classic tunes. Now, I think this scripting attempt, if we go into Studio, was made without recursion. So let's have a look at it. So I'm now in Studio for my scripting place, and I think things are about to get ugly. So let's look in the workspace, and we've got a script called Roblox Mainframe. What's this? Oh gosh, a script made by Unready Etheldred. That was my first username. And it's just a bunch of prints. Hello. Oh, it's an output thing. Okay, let's click run and experience it firsthand with the output open. You actually looked in the output. That's unusual. I don't normally get visitors. Sorry, where are my manners? I'm the Roblox Mainframe. Pleased to meet you. You can call me RM for short. Yeah, I was so amazed at the simple fact of printing to the output back then that I made this little thing. It's not interactive at all. It's purely just prints that talk to you. And then he says, I'll leave you to it then. Bye. Script end. So that's one of the scripts. Beautiful piece of work. Let's find the scripts for these spotlights. Is it inside this part? There we go. Spotlight 1. And we've got a script. Brace yourselves. I think this might be ugly. Oh boy. Yeah. So you see, back then, I did not know what a loop was. And I just learned about an if statement, and I thought if statements were pretty cool, and the longer you made your script, it just meant that you were a better scripter, obviously. So the first line checks if the transparency is 0.5, and if it is, then we set it to 1. Wait half a second, set it to 0.5, and then whereas normally you do this in a loop, so you'd only need these 3 lines, I just kept repeating it, repeating it, and repeating it. You see those memes you see about people being terrible at scripting and repeating themselves? Well, that was me. Back in 2012, this was me. This was how I was trying to script. I had no idea what I was doing, and I just repeated myself for how many lines? For over 1,000 lines, look. And it's all within an if statement for some reason. This if statement doesn't need to exist, but I think I just thought it was cool to have an extra piece of code. It was highlighted in red. It made it seem like I was doing something. And of course, there's no indentation either. I didn't understand that you need to indent things inside of an if statement. So I've repeated that for all of these. And the variable's different. Sometimes it's called light, sometimes it's called light2. And then it references different things. It's all a confusing mess. Poor little GnomeCode was trying his best here. Now, one of the reasons I show these scripts is because I want everyone to remember that it's always a learning process. And if you see someone making a terrible script like this, don't mock them. Give them a guiding hand because they don't know what they're doing and they'd probably appreciate some advice. Back then, I desperately wanted to be able to script and I didn't know really where to find good information. I was struggling and I was making this and it was terrible. And I didn't know it was terrible. I knew it wasn't great, but I was coding and I was happy. I was making something actually work. I was quite proud of this. But if someone had come along to me back then and laughed and said, "Oh, this is absolutely abysmal," would I have kept coding and kept making things? Probably not. So, take this as a little lesson for anyone out there who's learning scripting. Don't worry if your scripts aren't perfect and the most optimized. Are you enjoying yourself? Are you enjoying coding? Because planting that seed can sometimes be the most important thing of all. But talking of planting seeds, let's take a look at this video's sponsor, Brilliant.org. If you want to give your learning a boost, then this might just be the site for you. Brilliant is an interactive online learning platform that offers various courses across maths, science, and computing. When I was starting off learning to use Studio, one of the hardest problems was actually just finding information that was targeted to my level of knowledge without being too overwhelmed and getting bored. Now, all the lessons at Brilliant achieve this, or rather brilliantly, by gently introducing a topic and then keeping it fun and interactive through regular challenges to keep you entertained. Recently, I've been enjoying taking some of their logic puzzles, which I find can be a pretty fun way to warm up my brain for some coding. If you do fancy giving it a go, then you can try everything Brilliant has to offer completely free for a full 30 days. Visit brilliant.org/GnomeCode or click on the link in the description. First 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription, so why not check it out? So the next place I want to show you is Row Ball Arena. Open soon, not yet, it's coming soon. It might have been 10 years, but it's coming soon, I promise. Like all my games, they're always coming soon. So apparently it's Leeds United versus Man United. You can watch or participate. The choice is yours. Wow, this game is amazing. How many options it gives us? A whole 2 to play the game or to not play it and watch. Wow, amazing. And I had the gall to want people to advertise. Apparently you could place an advert here for 10 ticks. So that's showing its age, the fact that it's ticks. That's been gone a long time. But there you go. If you PM me, you can get an advert in here for 2 Robux apparently. So let's have a play. Big coverage for your adverts. Look, there's 8 people who played this. So many people could have seen your advert. So here we are. We are in the stands. We're up at the top here, and we're on the neutral spectator team. And if we make our way down the ground, we can see here we are, and we've got a few adverts, and we've got loads of advertise here adverts. I was really desperate for that Robux, which didn't really come. We got these poor, sad-faced stewards again. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just decapitated him. Oh, dear. Can we do the same to this guy? Oh, oh, no. Oh, dear, the massacre. No, it's a massacre. All of their heads aren't anchored. Oh, no. It's a tragedy. And, oh, here's a classic advert. Think you're tough enough? Sign up for Awesome Squad today. What are you waiting for, soldier? So a bit of backstory. This is actually a clan that I was running with the help of Ulrond. Ulrond actually created it. He is one of the admins in the Discord server, the Gnome Discord server, so we're still friends to this day. But he founded this clan back in the day, and then I took it over at some point in time. And it was a little war clan, and yeah, I was really hoping to get some people to join in this place with 0 players. This place was sort of in the back of my mind when I created my tutorial, how to make your first game, which was about how to make a football game. And I think I would have really liked to have seen a series like that back when I was learning. I was making this. I didn't know how to make a football game. I think if I'd been able to make the game from the tutorial series, That would have been the kind of thing I was looking for. But talking of this war clan, let's go ahead and look at our next place, which again was desperately trying to recruit some members. It is a recruitment plaza. So here we go, we're spammed in a bunch of soldiers again. This beautiful uniform you can see here was made by yours truly. You can see it's off-center, like all good uniforms should be, and it doesn't seem to quite match up. It's not even symmetrical either, so it was done by hand in MS Paint, and it's a true work of art. Let's go in and have a look. I remember being quite proud of this building back in the day. Let's have a look. We've got more free moles, more soldiers. And look at this. We've got some screenshots of the troops in action. It's a bit too blurry to read. There's some artwork. Awesome squad. Beautiful piece of artwork, that, isn't it? And we've got another screenshot here. Why wouldn't you want to join this amazing war group when they do things like stand around in front of a fiery hand? Okay, we go up the stairs. We haven't got any landing. It's a bit of an odd stairs. You go all the way up and then you got to hop over to your left. Beautiful design. And then we got a helper dude up here. And I think he says pretty much all the same stuff. So this is where the recruiters and advisors are up here. So who should I see first? Talk to the main recruiter. Where is he? That's promotion advisor. We don't want to... What is this? Is that a plant? I thought it was a giant chicken or something at first. So we're going to head into the recruiter's booth. And again, I'm doing that classic thing of building is I haven't really thought about the scale much and what I want to put in it. So I've got this huge space with only 3 little booths and nothing else really in here. You can talk to these 3 guys and we can look at a bunch of free models and some beautiful uniforms. Now, if this doesn't make you want to join Awesome Squad, then I don't know what will. So there's one more game I want to show you, and this is Be a Secret Agent RPG Quest. Read description. So here's what I said. A game I was working on, then stopped. May come back to finish at a later date. I know it's been 9 years, but I'm sure I'll get around to that final level. So let's have a play and have a look. I remember this. So it's actually got a little bit of puzzle or sort of problem solving, right? A little bit of gameplay. It's not purely dialogue. So he tells us that's the RIA headquarters, which is the Roblox intelligence agency. Ooh. And I want to get a job there, but they aren't looking for applicants. So I assume perhaps I can break in and demand a job. Yes. And he goes, maybe. As if this is a perfectly normal way to go about things. Yes, I'm going to break in and get a job. Great. So obviously I can't get through the front entrance. Oh, look, this is handily placed crane over here. So you come over here and you climb up this rather handily placed truss. Find some more handy crates. Up another truss. Up a third truss. And then here's this crane. Climb up this one. Whoa. And here we go. Now, remember, you actually have to be careful because the barbed wire down there will actually kill you. So you need to make sure you clear it. And jump. There we go. We made it. And through the back door, which is helpfully just kept open all the time. That's very helpful, isn't it? And it has a lock on the outside. And there we go. We can speak to this dude. Operative 1. Doesn't he look cool? Sarcastic clapping. Well done, well done. What do you mean, well done? You were set up, is what I mean. So apparently it was all a thing to test our abilities, and we were diabolical, quite frankly. So, ooh, it's all a twist. What a plot twist. So, blah, blah, blah. Very fascinating stuff, and he tells us to go through the door, which we will do. And it's a teleport, and when we touch it, we get taken over here. And we've got an obby. This trainer tells us to go and do the obby. I won't do all of the dialogue, I don't think. So off we go. There we go. And then we've got the next trainer. And I think this is some kind of a quiz. So on a mission, what's the first thing you do, apparently? Check your weapons. Remember the brief. Don't forget the brief. Or search your surroundings. I don't know. What do we think? I think you need to search your surroundings first. Oh, no, that's wrong, apparently. This is a brutal training course where they kill you when you get the wrong answer. So I've just gone into Studio because I've realized that one of these is actually broken. So right here, you're supposed to wait for orders. And there's no kill part in it, but I haven't actually made it collidable. Yeah, you just stuck here. It kept getting killed. But after you get through here, you're supposed to come through to this area here. And then the trainer says, off you go, back to the RIA HQ. And there we go, work in progress, coming soon. This is as far as I got with the game. I don't think this was a bad attempt at a video game. What do you guys think? Let me know. At least with this one, there is some gameplay going on. There's no scripting, but, you know, we had an obby and we had a little bit of a quiz and a little problem solving sort of thing. Okay, I'm stretching it out, but I think these are all fun to show as they, well, they show that it's all a learning process. And all of these are admittedly quite terrible games, but everybody has to start somewhere. And one thing that I could definitely benefit from learning myself is I still haven't got a lot better at finishing my projects yet. This is definitely still a major plague of mine. I have so many unfinished coming soon projects. And when you find something from 10 years ago that says coming soon, you know it ain't coming soon. But would you like to see more of my unfinished projects? What do you think of the ones in this video? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye!